Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how to buy planes in OpenTTD. So to begin with, we want to find two cities that we want to transport passengers between, and in this example I'll use these two cities, one on my right just here, Bringthingpool, and then I'll also use Kennington just here, as they've got quite good population sizes to them. And in order to actually buy planes, we first need to build our airports. So in order to build an airport, we come up here to our tabs up here, and then we come across to the Build Airports tab. So you can see if I hold down my left mouse button here, you can see the Airport Construction tab has just popped up. And then we click on this icon just here. Now that's going to give us an overview of the airport that we're going to build. You can see I've got small selected just here. Commuter currently isn't available because I'm in 1952 right now, which you can see down here at the bottom. And the larger airport hasn't unlocked. Likewise, we can drop down and see even bigger airports here, which again are currently not available due to the year that I'm in. But for this, I'm just going to use the small airport. And what we want to do is find somewhere in the city that we want to put this down to build the aeroplanes. We want a good catchment area, ideally. I can see here that this is looking quite good. We've got quite a lot of nice big-sized buildings in the catchment area, but the land here isn't exactly flat. So I'm actually going to come over here and get the landscaping tool. In order to access the landscaping tool, you just hold down on the landscaping button here, go to the landscaping tool, bring this up, and then select this, which is level an area of land to the height of the first selected corner. So if I press this, you can see this little white icon where my mouse is that follows my mouse around. I'm just going to select a flat area here, drag it out so that I flatten this whole area, which will be big enough for our airport to sit within, and I can go ahead and build it. Just before I build it, you can see that there are blue squares around it. That is the catchment area. I can toggle that off or toggle it on using these two buttons here. And that allows me to place the airport down. Basically, any buildings that are within the catchment area are the buildings that are going to supply our airports with passengers. Once I've built my first airport, if I click it, it will bring up the airport overview tab just here. And now we want to go ahead and build our second airport over in our other location. Now, interestingly, I'm looking at this. It's a quite big city. I could potentially put an airport here, even though here looks like it might be a bit of a better catchment area, just based on the amount of properties that I can see would be caught up in the catchment area here. I'm going to have to level this down because we have this corner just here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to drag it out to make it all a bit bigger here so that we can actually fit the airport on top of this landscape. So that's a really nice snug fit there for this airport. So now I've built my two airports. And again, if I click this one, I've now got two airport overviews here. And this is basically going to allow me to see the passenger and mail flow start to fill up as we begin building new planes. Now, looking at the catchment area here, I can see obviously with this particular airport, I've probably got a lot more properties in this catchment area than I do in the other one, which means that this airport is going to fill up quicker than the other airport. Now, that means that I'm going to have planes to cater to the traffic coming out of this airport instead of the other one. I could do the other one, but then that would mean that this airport would have excess passengers, which isn't the end of the world, but I like to be efficient with my cargo loads, if you will. So I'm going to use this airport as my base airport, if you will. So in order to actually build our planes, what we need to do is come over to the depot, which is in the corner here of the airport. I can go ahead and click that, and that will bring up the airport's hangar. Now, in order to actually buy planes, we want to go ahead and press this here, which is new aircraft, just here. And that's going to bring up our list of aircraft. As I'm in 1952 right now, we only have 3 available. If you have a date that is more in the future, you will have a lot more aircraft to choose from. But for this one, I can see my list of aircraft here. So we've got 3 to choose from. And as I hover over each one here, you can see the cargo loads that they will take. So this one does 30 passengers and 6 bags of mail. This one does 65 and 8. And then this one does 25 and 4. Along with that, you can see the prices, the speeds, the design, and a few other bits of information. As this is the largest aircraft currently available, the Coleman count, I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to go ahead and buy this aircraft. That has now bought the aircraft. It cost us £30,000. We can see it's in our hangar now, which is great. However, we now need to give it a set of orders. Now, in order to give it orders, that basically means that it's going to go from one airport to the other. We need to come over to the Orders tab just here and press this. This is going to bring up the aircraft orders by pressing this button here, the Show Aircraft Orders button. And then we can see here on here that we have the Go To button currently selected already. But if you don't have it selected, you can just go ahead and click it. And then we're going to press the airport. So we can see here, Bringfield Pool Airport. If I go ahead and click it, that's going to put Bringfield Pool Airport into our Orders tab just here. And then I'm going to come over to the other airports. I've still got my Go To button selected right now, but just reselect that if you don't. And then I'm going to press the other airports here. So now we can see that it's got two sets of orders and we have those added. Now it's important to note that when an aircraft goes to an airport, it's going to start loading up on passengers. And in order to make sure that it fully loads on those passengers, we want to make sure that it understands that it needs to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Bringfield Pool Airport just here. We're going to select that. I can select the other one, but I'm going to select this one just here. And then I'm going to press this button here, which is Full Load Any Cargo. And that means that it's going to wait at the airport until it has a full passenger count before it then departs the airport. So I'm now ready to let this aircraft go. So I'm going to go ahead here and press this with the Stops button. And that's now going to put it into motion. So we can see here it's now left the airport. And if we wait a minute, we will see here that it begins to load up on passengers, and it's loading up fairly quickly. Now, one aircraft alone is not going to be enough to service all of the traffic coming out of this airport. So in order to boost that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, and where you can see in the airport hangar, I've got this Clone Aircraft button. I'm going to press that, and then I'm going to press this aircraft. And again, I'm going to press the Stop button, which starts it. And away it goes. And now this one's now going to fill up as well. And you're going to see that actually we're going to need quite a few aircraft to just manage the traffic coming out of this airport before this plane that we've just let go ever manages to come back. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I'm going to clone a couple more aircraft, and I can hold down the control key here to select that a couple of times. So I'm now going to have in total 10 planes. And if I want to mass release all of these planes at once, I can press the green button here, so you can see that they're now all green, and they will come out when a space is available. So as this aircraft takes off, the next one will come out, but you will see that we will not get more than 2 aircraft at a time on this airfield just because of the size of the airport. So I'm going to fast forward just a little bit here. There we go. And if we come over to our first plane here now, we can see that that has just arrived at the current airport and is now leaving. However, it is leaving with only 3 bags of mail and not a full set of passengers. And the reason for that is because this airport didn't know that it was taking passengers. So now that plane has effectively established that rule, we can see here it is beginning now to fill up. And that's now fully in motion. So that plane's just come in, and this plane now, plane number 2, does have some passengers and mail to bring back with it. And that will now continue to cycle through. And if we go back to our first airport here, we currently have only these 2 planes available. But as plane number 1 now comes back into land, which it just has done, it will now continue to transport passengers as it goes. So we now have a fully functioning air route here. This is quite successful. It's going to make quite a good amount of money, which I'm happy about. However, the last thing I want to talk to you about now, if we look at this airport, is the amount of mail bags that we can see coming in just here. So we currently have 69, 67, 108 passengers available. We already have 313 bags of mail, and that is going to continue to grow. And we might want to actually make a plane especially to just carry the mail. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to clone another one of the aircraft again. However, this time I'm going to come over to this button here, which is to retrofit the aircraft. By pressing this button, we can see what we can retrofit to, and you can see I've got passengers, mail, goods, and valuables. I'm going to go ahead and select the mail button here, which you can see is going to cost me 4,100 to refit. I'm going to press that. And now if we come over to what its carrying capacity is, you can see now it's got 73 bags of mail shown. We already have over 300, so it's going to fill up very quickly. And then I'm just going to press this button here to buy another copy of it. It's effectively the same as using the clone function. And then I'm going to let both of these go. And if I just speed up quickly, you can see that this one now has already filled up with just bags of mail. There's still plenty more to go. This aircraft now has got quite a successful route going for itself. And that is how you buy aircraft in OpenTTD.